Today I'm starting a journey of almost 3,000 miles, 70 hours on what some consider America's most boringest train route. While others say I'll see some of the most wide open and pristine parts of this continent. Either I'll have my gob smacked or be so bored I want to lay down on the tracks. So come with me as I crawl through flyover country, maybe have a few laughs along the way. The journey begins at beautiful Union Station in downtown Los Angeles. Boy, I never get sick of that. What a looker. And there's my train right on time. Walk down the long corridor to my platform. Got a few minutes to spare and she will be coming down the track shortly. Here she is, backing her up into the station. Time for me to find my car and climb aboard. There is the viewing car on the second story with those big ass wraparound windows. Gotta climb these narrow stairs to find my roomette. And this car is just a row of roomettes, and here she is, my accommodations for the next 2 evenings. You can see the Surfliner departing out the window. So let's lock it up and do a little room tour. Got a coat hanger to hang my jacket, some waters for when you arrive, some shampoo, lotion, a hand towel, a fresh box of tissues.
Fresh box of tissues. Nice.
I mean, I literally just said that, but okay. Here's a strap to hold your coat if you're traveling like a business traveler, a little tiny thin storage area over there. And I just rest my duffel bag on it. On this side, you got a trash can, pretty small, plus some steps to get up to the top bunk. That's where the second person would sleep, an air vent. I recently saw some old promotional material that suggested the roomettes are for one person. I've traveled in a roomette with 2 people. I gotta say, it's pretty tight once you get all your luggage and stuff in there. There's a knob on the other side to control music. I guess that was from like the pre-iPod days. It doesn't work anymore. Oh yeah, here's your one outlet. Also, this train has no Wi-Fi, but that's okay because I'm here to disconnect. Trying to get bored here. So there's 2 seats. You pull this bar down here to recline. There's also a control under there to turn these 2 seats into a bed, but we'll take a look at that later. Here's a fold down table where you can get a little work done. There's a chessboard on it. It's also a place where you can take your meals because all 3 meals are included with your first class roomette ticket. And you know I'm looking forward to trying this stuff. After briefly getting acquainted with my room, we began to depart Los Angeles. You may recognize that up there as the track for the A line. Over there is Dodger Stadium. I believe there was a game going on. And here's the first of many mighty rivers we will be seeing on this cross-country journey. On this turn, I was able to see the engine. I forgot how quiet and smooth the big Amtrak train is compared to lighter rails, the subway. I feel like a pat of butter just sliding along a skillet. Of course, the whole trip is not going to be like this. Most of the night we'll be traveling through the Sierra Nevadas and the Rockies, so we will be shuddering and rocking and clattering through the western mountains all night. I don't expect to get a ton of sleep, so I think having a nice heavy dinner will set me up for a decent night of sleep. Here's a really quick overview of the entire journey, but it's going to take a lot longer than that. Well, nothing to do now, but get comfortable. I'm here reading my book about New York City. That's right. I'm going from Los Angeles to New York City with a connection in Chicago, but that's not happening until not even tomorrow, but the day after that and like late that afternoon. It's about 7:45, passing through the city of Corona, and it's dinner time. I ordered my food to go. Instead of sitting in the dining car, I decided to eat it right here tonight in my roomette. A little more comfortable, a little quieter. And because this is first class service, they brought it to me right here in a bag. A 3-course meal. Starting out with a ginger ale, truly the drink for any discerning traveler. And course number 1 is the pearl tempura shrimp. All right, it smells like the sea. Those tempura pearls are kind of fun. I can feel it's very light, and that texture, I don't know if those are like individually added on, or if that's like a technique to get it just bubbly. Okay. It's not like the biggest piece of shellfish. The coating feels a little dry, but it tastes really good. The tail is a crunchy little treat. All right, I want to try it with the sweet chili sauce. It's a thick sauce. That is like an industrial sauce. That came out of a big can. That's good. Here's our main course. It's a little terrarium. All right, let's pop it open and see what we got. Man, that's quite a sound when those freight trains come whipping past. All right, this is the pan-roasted chicken breast, rustic mashed potatoes, mixed veggies, and a morel mushroom sauce. And it's topped off with these like teeny tiny little potato french fry strips. We're pulling into the Riverside station, so we'll be stopping momentarily, but that won't stop me. It's the beauty of train travel. We got some mashed potatoes, which just smell fantastic. Mixed vegetables, which is like green beans and carrots. And man, I love those round carrots. It's a pretty good carrot. You try this potato here. It smells buttery. That's a real mashed potato. That is not an instant mashed potato. That's got the chunks. That's got the starchy texture. I'm gonna put it down so I can cut a piece of the chicken breast. And that is a big honkin' chicken breast. It smells really good. We got a little morel right there. That's fun. It's nice the chicken breast is skin on to get a little juiciness of the fat, which you kind of need. Departing Riverside just in time for my third course, the dessert course. That looks and smells like a party. White chocolate cheesecake with vanilla cream cake and swirled blueberry compote. It smells like vape juice. Man, I'm excited. Here we go. It's really very good. This top layer is pretty light, like a whipped cream. And then you do get a thicker cheese layer, but it's mixed in with like actual cake. And that kind of graham cracker crust at the bottom. All right, I want to try a blueberry. It's a good blueberry. That was a great meal. Not just the food, but the whole experience, having it delivered here to my room. I'm traveling in the comfort of my first class roomette. I mean, compare this to plane travel. It just cannot stand up. As for the quality of the food, I mean, pretty good. The shrimp was fun and tasty. The chicken also tasted very good. It was a little dry, and I think I can say that because I've had much juicier chicken breast on an Amtrak train before. To be fair, this was a very thick piece of chicken, and like you gotta cook it all the way through, but still just like a thoughtful, well-composed dish and very satisfying. And that cheesecake, boy, what a treat. It looked and tasted like a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party. Overall, just really filling, really tasty. And what more can you ask for on a train? That gets a 5 out of 5. It began to rain a little bit as we climbed into the Sierra Nevadas, but I was oh so cozy in my little cabin. You may recognize these hills as the hills from Silent Hill. And it was at this point that I started to wonder if this train trip was actually going to be boring. Because this shit is pretty cool. I was ready to take a little stroll after dinner, so I took that long walk through all of the private room train cars, again through the dining car, and I made my way to the lounge/observation car. I found a seat and did some observing. Sun was starting to set near the human settlement of Alray, California, elevation 2,000 feet for those keeping track. Folks in the lounge were having fun playing board games, drinking, joking. I myself was just watching the day turn to night, the coastal chaparral give way to cactus Joshua tree as we continued to climb into the high desert. All right, it's bedtime. Now you can have your first class attendant do a turn down service when it's time for bed. I, a seasoned traveler, was comfortable to do it myself, which meant laying the seats down flat. pulling the bedding off of the top bunk where it's stored. You got that bedroll. Got a top sheet, a couple soft pillows. This velvety quilt, Amtrak branded, very chill. And there's one last thing I need to do before I go to sleep, and that's take a train shower. That's right, these sleeper cars have shared bathrooms with showers in them. You can see it's a pretty small space, but there you go, the shower stall, some instructions there on how to use it. They have additional toiletries, shampoo, little bars of soap. Not a ton of space to operate in here. I have my clean clothes plus a bag with my bathroom stuff in it. But I got all situated, let the dogs out, and was ready to rinse off.
So I took a shower on the train. I figured since it's not like an overnight trip, I will be living on trains for 3 days. I would go through my normal night routine. The shower was totally nice and fine. It's a utilitarian shower, and I utilized it. The train moved a little bit. My butt did touch the walls a couple times, which I didn't love, but we're just living in tight quarters here. The water was warm, the water pressure was fine. I honestly kind of forgot I was on a train for a minute, and the bed is really comfortable, and I'm really tired. I'll shut the light off and hopefully drift off into a deep and sound sleep.
Day 1 complete, and here are the stats. I woke up at about 5 a.m. local time as we rolled into Flagstaff, Arizona.
The Grand Canyon is right over there somewhere.
There was a beautiful sunrise on my first full day on the train, so after a bit I got up and grabbed some coffee. They make a fresh carafe of coffee in every sleeper car. It's a beautiful morning in the Arizona desert. Take a look at this. Not too bad, right? It's about 6:30. I've been up for a couple hours. I didn't get the best sleep, but I got a cup of coffee from the carafe outside. The roomette is still in bed mode, doing my crossword puzzle, enjoying the scenery. I was really tired last night, so I nodded off pretty easily, but I kept getting woken up as we drove through train stations, and the lights on the platforms kind of shined into my windows as we passed freight trains. But I naturally kind of woke up at around 4:30, took it pretty easy, laid in bed. So in just a few minutes I'll probably get up and close up the bed, reset it to seating mode, and go check out what's for breakfast at the dining car. First fresh air stop of the day, and it doesn't get much fresher than this. Beautiful Gallup, New Mexico, finally in the land of enchantment, and frankly, I feel enchanted. It's so Pixar's Cars coded out here. God, life really is a highway. Life is a railway. This is my car right here, really at the front of the train, which is kind of neat. I feel like when you see videos of train derailments, it's like the ones in the back that get it the worst. So it's brisk and chilly. It's pretty high altitude up here. I could feel it kind of in my stomach when I woke up this morning. We'll likely have a few more of these fresh air stops throughout the day, but otherwise I'm gonna be chilling, doing a little work, relaxing, and just watching the scenery go by as we make our way towards Chicago, Illinois. Meal number 2, I got my breakfast here on the Southwest Chief, train number 4, as we roll through the red rocks of beautiful New Mexico en route to Albuquerque. I ordered the omelet with Swiss, which comes with red peppers, other things inside. We have some potatoes, chicken sausage, and a nice soft, hold on, oh shit, we're rocking, moist croissant. I think it was kind of sitting under that dome for a little bit. No fault of the kitchen, that was me, because I did order it right before that fresh air stop, and I ordered it to my room. But I'm really hungry, and this looks good to me. Let me start with the potato. It's soft. The fork went right through it. It's like well seasoned. It's got some rosemary, salt, and other herbs and stuff on it. Now let's take a look at the omelet here. Maybe I'll just, a nice like folded country style omelet. And I think maybe the best thing to do here is let me just like open it up and we can see inside. Nice, okay. You can see the onion and red pepper in there. Pretty classic breakfast. That's a little uncouth, but I'm just gonna eat it with my hands. Out here, Wild West style. Pretty good. The egg is a little spongy. I personally prefer a more like French style omelet, which I honestly don't think is like possible to do on a train. Let's try the croissant. Oh, okay. It's pretty elastic, glutinous. That's pretty good. Comes with some butter and schmuckers. They really make sure you're getting your like daily dose of sugar in these meals. They're really good. Chode like chicken sausage. It's good. It's salty. It's hearty. Honestly, couldn't really ask for more. Simple, comforting, filling, diner-style breakfast with a view. I give the 3-egg omelet on the Southwest Chief Train 4 a 5 out of 5. I finished my breakfast with views of the red rocks of the American Southwest Desert, past ruins of old frontier-era homes, and more greenery as we neared the Rio Grande, desert willows, oaks, mesquites. And before long, we arrived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This was a 30-minute stop, so I figured I'd just walk around. I love Albuquerque. Man, those 30 minutes just flew by, didn't they? I'm back on the train watching the desert landscape pass. Off in the distance, you can see the glittering peaks of the snow-capped Rocky Mountains. The hits just keep on coming. We recently departed Albuquerque, New Mexico. My lunch arrived to my roomette. It's a boiga, a cheeseburger. This is the natural Angus burger, not bad, with tomato, red onion, and some kettle chips. Don't mind if I do. Got it with the DC, and you know Amtrak's not gonna let you have a meal without some dessert. So I got a butter cake. This thing looks pretty good. The veggies smell super fresh and they look fresh. The tomato is bright. I can smell that onion. Or just having like a little bite, the flavor is really good. It's very soft and juicy. Kind of like the texture of like kebab meat. That's really good. The bun is a little sweet. I can't really taste the cheddar that much. I feel like if it needs anything, it's a little pickle. All right, now let's try Frankie and Louie's butter cake of Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. This is fun. I don't know if I've ever had a pastry like this before. What is the butter cake? Well, here's the cake. Is this the butter? I don't know why I did that. Ooh. Man, it smells good. It smells very buttery. Wow, that is intense. The cake is extremely buttery. That filling is kind of like a creme brulee almost. I can't have more than a couple bites of this. All right, so in conclusion, my natural Angus cheeseburger on the Southwest Chief, train number 4, was really good. Nice, sweet, spongy bun, crunchy kettle chips that tasted like kettle chips. The burger itself was soft and tasted really good. The perfect lunch to eat on a train. That gets a 5 out of 5. It's funny, I had so many plans for the day to do work, read, watch some movies I had downloaded, but I found myself just staring out the window for hours at a time, ruminating. And I guess I wasn't the only one. The landscape continued to get greener, wetter. The arroyos of the Southwest deserts began to fill up with muddy water as we made our way northeast towards Colorado. This Windows XP default desktop background looking ass terrain. Dinner is served. I'm having an early one. It's about 5:30 local time as we make our way north
through New Mexico to the Raton Pass. Before we dig into the main course, let's take a look at our appetizer here. I went with mixed greens and a big brick of brie. That's nice. Salad comes with a sachet of Newman's Own. The greens mix is pretty nice. A couple pieces of cucumber there. Of course, a big chunk of brie. A very creamy, mild brie. Cucumber. Oh my God, we're really rocking and rolling. For the main course, we got the flat iron steak with mashed potatoes and mixed veggies. Boy, does that look good. We have these Pixar character carrots. All right, now let's try the steak. Nice kind of crust on top there. It's a pretty thick steak, especially like on this side. Look at that big chunk of meat. The flavor is good. That is like a surprisingly tender and delicious piece of steak. We're pulling into the cute little town of Raton. And finally, the dessert course. It's dense, there's layers to it. There is this sort of mousse in between the layers. It's served chilled, which is very nice, because I'm really baking here in that high desert sun. And you know what? This is not like insanely sweet. I can, and very well may, eat this whole thing very quickly. So how was it? I mean, overall it was great. The salad was fresh. Having brie on a train is fun. The chocolate cake was good. A big slice of cake. The steak, potatoes, and vegetables was really good. I mean, I was happy with that steak. So I get the meals included in my first class travel. I believe it's $40 if you're traveling coach. So like, is that a $40 meal? I don't know, like 2 years ago, maybe I would have said no, but like everything costs $40 now. You know, you're not just paying for the food, you're paying for the food to be prepared on a train. People will probably pay like $100 for a less than incredible steak in like a revolving restaurant. And this is way cooler than revolving.
Okay, just for reference, here's the menu for Polaris, which is the rotating restaurant at the top of the fabulous Hyatt Regency. And their steaks are $45, the all-natural beef filet. And this is the view, which, you know, no shade to Atlanta, but...
So I can confidently say the flat iron steak on the Southwest Chief, Train 4, gets a 5 out of 5.
As we made our way to the Raton Pass, we rolled through a series of these beautiful valleys, hidden valleys, I'm sure, where the ranch originated from.
This is crazy. We're just passing through like the most beautiful landscape I've ever seen in my life. I'm just like sitting on my ass eating chocolate cake. What a surreal experience. Deers.
Look at these guys. When I die, I want to come back as a deer in the Raton Pass, Hidden Valley, ranch dressing country. And it was so beautiful, I needed to see more. So after I finished my cake, I headed to the observation car. So don't be disturbed that the landscape is now moving from left to right. We didn't turn around. I'm simply sitting on the other side of the train. And before long, the sun began to set on my second night, my first full day on the train. And let's take a look at the stats. The Raton Pass was the highest point I would see on this trip at nearly 8,000 feet, and after a short hook through Colorado, we made our way into Kansas. I woke up early the next morning as we neared Kansas City and the state of Missouri. When I went to sleep last night, we had just crossed over the border from Colorado to Kansas, and I guess we just flew through the state overnight. At about 3 p.m. local time, I will be rolling into Chicago, where I have a 6-hour layover to board another train at about 9 p.m. That will take me on a 20-hour journey to New York City. I did wake up and notice that the humidity had changed drastically as we left dry Colorado. My stomach feels a little better as we
we dropped in altitude. So I'm gonna put my bed away, get dressed, and then call for an attendant to take my breakfast order. Breakfast has arrived. Eating in my room this morning. We just left Kansas City, which frankly had sort of a sinister energy to it. I've never been in Kansas City before, and I was pretty happy to get out. I don't know, the vibes were a little off. And I feel safe saying that because I can see the analytics, and most people who watch my videos are in LA, which is cool. You know, if you see me on the street, feel free to say hi. Feel free to follow my Instagram, which is in the link tree. And of course, please subscribe. Believe it or not, this is like a very new channel. So 10,000 followers would be like a huge milestone for me. Today I went with a simple breakfast, a continental breakfast, which includes a bowl of oatmeal, brown sugar, and raisins, a thing of flavored, sweetened Greek yogurt, some fresh strawberries. Wow, look at those. And of course, a fresh croissant. Whoa, this one's a lot lighter and drier than yesterday, like in a good way. You also get a bev. I ordered mine with a sparkling water. Tray Continental. We'll start out with the Chobani Greek yogurt. Yeah, it's good. Next up, we got the oatmeal, which is truly a goat meal. Look at that gruel. That's like a good thickness. I guess what more can you say about oatmeal? Berry. Boo. Bad strawberry. Buttery, flaky, nice to the tooth, kind to the tongue. I really just couldn't handle like another cheesy meal or like a super sweet French toast. I went with something simple. I got what I asked for. That's a 5 out of 5.
I was in for smooth sailing for the rest of the day, out of the Rockies and into the flat lands of the Midwest. And another time change. Look at how green, look at how wet. The Southwest could never.
Got lunch, eating it here in my room as we rocket through the lush and beautiful state of Missouri. And for lunch, I decided to go with the Caesar salad. Lunch also comes with dessert. I went with the brownie, which comes warm. Ooh, that's nice. And of course, the Diet Coke as a professional beverage enjoyer. Oh, we got some chicken, we got some crisp greens, some crouton, a few cherry tomatoes, and it's dusted in some sort of hard cheese. That tomato was bad. That tasted like seafood. I should have known because it was like puckered and looked bad. This one looks better. Some chicken. Cold, relatively flavorless chicken, but fine. Comes with some Newman's Own creamy Caesar. Not bad. All right, let's try this brownie. Sustainable Peruvian chocolate, so they say. Nice brownie, nice flavor. And that was my last meal on the Southwest Chief because tonight I will be transferring in Chicago to the Lakeshore Limited. And how was that Caesar salad as a send-off? It was fine. It was a kind of watered down version of what a Caesar salad could be, but at the same time, not a major disappointment. I'd say the Caesar salad gets a 4 out of 5.
And as we passed through Fort Madison, Iowa, I got to thinking how interesting it is to take this train route. A route that takes you through some of America's biggest metropolitan areas, LA, New York, but also through smaller towns that were at one point important enough for their own train station for military reasons, for industrial reasons. This train route is kind of a testament, a vestige to an America that just doesn't exist anymore. Well, anyway, we crossed the Mississippi River and landed in Illinois just in time for me to take a Chillinois. I was pretty tired from a couple nights of not great sleep, so I just zoned out and watched Twisters, which to me was a 5 out of 5. Wow, look at those grain silos. That's so Illinois of them. Well, things started to get more suburban, a little bit denser, and before long, the skyline of the city of Chicago peeked over the horizon. My train pulled into this covered platform where I detrained, saying goodbye to the Southwest Chief, my home, for the past 48 hours, and made my way into the bustling Union Station. I went to Amtrak's Metropolitan Lounge, yes, me, a Metropolitan, where I stored my luggage, took advantage of some of the amenities, don't mind if I do, then headed out to explore Chicago. Just stepped out of the beautiful Union Station. I don't know anything about the city. I got about 4 hours to kill, and I figured I would get something to eat because I likely won't be getting dinner after I board my 9:30 train. Just thought I'd stretch my legs and do some sightseeing. And sights I saw, the first of which was this beautiful river. The next was this cool elevated train that I found wrapping around the city, and I thought, boy, I'd like to ride that. So I found a platform, bought a ticket, and waited for it to arrive. Look at that, we really are elevated, aren't we? This really is such a cool way to get around and see the city. Now, I really had no plan, but I did see a big green space on my map, so I figured I'd head towards that. One of these days, my name's gonna be up there when they start recognizing YouTubers as art, right next to Mr. Beast. Well, I found myself at Millennium Park in this beautiful hidden garden. Wow, it is so beautiful here in Millennium Park. The haze is starting to fade, the sun is coming out, and the birds are going off. Oh my god, wait, look at what I just happened to run into. One of the world's most famous beans. Oh, you didn't think I'd forget, did you? Got the dog. Damn, new city, same shit. Beautiful hot dog, like some sort of pico de gallo with tomato and onion. We got a pickle, we got little peppers and shit. You know what a Chicago dog is. Maybe better than I do. And I don't want to hear people complain like, oh, you didn't get it at like the authentic whatever. Even in my home city, I go to the tourist place. It was the first place I saw. I have a limited amount of time here. God forbid someone go to a city, do zero research before showing up. But you know, I'm hungry. Oh yeah, there's also like a powder on it. I can smell it. It smells good. I'm hungry. It's good. The mustard is spicy. Let me see. This is a dill pickle. I just like the crunch of all the extra stuff. Got a windy city, am I right?
The hot dog on its own can be sort of a one-note situation. Salty hot dog flavor. This gave it some crunch. It gave it some acidity. You know what? This specific Chicago dog, the tourist stand by the bean for $7, that's a 5 out of 5.
After the dog, I took myself for a walk. I wanted to see what made this lake so great. I really had to see it with my own eyes. That thing is a lake? A lake it was. I get it. It's great. It's pretty great. Well, my departure time was arriving, so I hopped on a bus to head straight back to Union Station. Back through the station and down the platform to the train, only this time it's a new train, that's right, the Lakeshore Limited, and new train means new digs. So I found my room, said goodbye to Chicago, and then began to explore where I'd be spending the next 20-ish hours. One of the more interesting things about this one compared to the last one is, yeah, there's a toilet right there. It's so close to your bed that it actually touches the mattress pad. But it does have a sink, which is kind of cool, and it drains out the back and has those big dome lights. There's another bed in this one as well, but instead of coming down on hinges, it slides down on a rail, which is kind of cool. There's also a window up there. If you stand on the toilet and by the sink, you can get up to this baggage storage area, that's actually pretty nice to have. This one also has a shower. This is down the hall. It's not in my roomette, but the shower isn't really as nice. It's like held together with tape, and overall, it was kind of... I'll let this guy explain.
Man, I don't know about this train. I don't think I like it as much as the last one. It's just kind of laid out weird and dirty. It's just... The shower didn't really work that well. I couldn't get the door shut, so like a bunch of water splashed onto the floor. Also, I was bouncing around, man. That was like the freaking tumble cycle. I feel like I know how my comforter feels. And they didn't have a toilet in there, so now I gotta piss right next to my bed. I haven't done that shit since college. I don't like that. Well, anyway, this room is a little bit bigger than the last one, and the bed's comfortable, and we got some nice ventilation over here, so I don't know, maybe I'm just like complaining, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to take the train line and arrive in the Big Apple in a short 18 hours. All right, I'm gonna go piss in this little can right next to my bed, then go to sleep.
Here are the stats. Once again, the miles keep climbing, the elevation keeps dropping. Here's where I took a short little hot dog break in Chicago and transferred to the Lakeshore Limited, traveling through the Midwest overnight and waking up just past Cleveland. And the luscious clouds of the Perry nuclear power plant. I honestly woke up in kind of a bad mood, but I knew things were going to turn around because it was breakfast time. We are on the Lakeshore Limited 48, recently crossed from Ohio to New York State en route to the Buffalo station. I slept pretty bad last night, but that's okay because we got this beautiful 3-egg omelet to give us the energy to persevere. It comes with potatoes, a big honkin' sausage, and an omelet with a bunch of different cheese in it. Pee-wee potatoes. Good. Potatoes got some onion and pepper in there. All right, let's take a look at this omelet. Nice and light. Whoa, hello. That is really salty and really buttery. Take a bite out of this sausage. It reminds me of like a Dr. Seuss illustration. I feel like that guy was always putting dripping sausages in his books. I don't like that. I don't like what just happened. I'm not feeling great about things today, folks. I'm eating next to a toilet. That gets a 5 out of 5. Okay. Things can only improve from here. I mean, look, we got our first glimpse of beautiful Lake Erie. Our next and final time change as we are getting close to the Atlantic coast. Don't worry about the sausage juice on my bag. It was interesting to see all of these factories. Some of them are abandoned. I think some were still in operation. But it makes you think about manufacturing, supply chains, how we get things from place to place, whether it's roads, rails, canals. The Erie Canal, you know, the canal actually predated the steam engine. Originally, cargo would be loaded on boats that would be pulled by mules that walked on roads alongside the canals. But by the time the Erie Canal was completed in 1825, steamboats had been around for decades. At this point, I was feeling pretty worn out, not bored per se because I had the thoughts of canals to keep me entertained, but I was certainly at a lower energy level. That's not to say that the terrain wasn't beautiful, but I was certainly excited to break up the sightseeing with a little lunch. I ordered in the dining car, got a view on the south side of the train, the side opposite from my room, and got to see the beautiful Mohawk River. Lunch is here. It is very hot. In some ways, I'm happy to say this is my final meal. Some legs of this journey have been more interesting than others. Old brick buildings or some like Victorian homes. It's pretty cool. Oh, that is steaming hot beef paprikash. Not entirely sure what this dish is. A stewed beef of some kind. It just kind of sounded East Coast. Also comes with the side salad, which I decided to get with ranch, representing the American West. And of course, a roll. Look at that beautiful specimen. I'm going a little cuckoo on this train, so we'll start with the salad. I prefer Heinz Ranch to Hidden Valley. Ain't too bad. On to the next course. We got some stewed beef in a sauce. Get a piece right here. Okay. Classic spherical Amtrak carrot. I like the shape of that pasta. That's fun. Not a lot going on flavor-wise. The texture of the beef is pretty soft. I guess that happens when you stew beef. It's kind of like canned meat texture. Not entirely sure what's going on with the sauce either. This is the one time I didn't get like a little salt and pepper packets. That's okay. So how was my final meal on my Amtrak trip from Los Angeles to New York? The beef paprikash on the Lakeshore Limited 48. It was fine. Pretty unoffensive, nice, soft, easy to eat food. I think if it were seasoned a little bit more, it would probably be pretty good if I had some hot sauce. Overall, like pretty good on this kind of hazy day in upstate New York. I give it a 4 out of 5.
We crossed another river, honestly couldn't tell you which one, and continued to pass through these cute upstate New York towns. Man, they look like a model train set. I feel like a little toy in some grandpa's basement somewhere.
It's a big ass train.
There was a long stop in Albany, New York, where the train was split in twain, with the front half going to Boston and the back half continuing to New York City. We traveled southward along the Hudson River and caught my first glimpses of some tall buildings indicating that we were nearing
New York, at Station 1 and train home, final stop, Amtrak train 48. This is New York, this is the final stop.
I made my way through the train terminal and took my first steps into the Big Apple, baby.
Okay, I will admit I was a little harsh on that second train. It was pretty comfortable. It got me where I needed to go. And I'm a little sorry to say that my train ride is over 70 hours across the entire continent.
Here are the stats on our last leg of the journey.
With the entire trip complete, can I say I got bored? No, honestly, I didn't. Between like sleeping, napping, eating meals, shooting little videos, reading, getting a little work done, watching a couple movies, my days were full. In fact, I got a lot less done than I was planning on doing. And any spare time that I had, I would just look out the window and truly be inspired, awe-inspired. The landscape changed like every 2 hours into something even more beautiful, seeing the way the earth wrinkled as we went into the Rockies, how it flattened out in the Midwest. It told this story that you don't see unless you're experiencing it at ground level. It was amazing. It was expensive. I could have flown to Tokyo for that much, and it would have taken a fraction of the time, but it was a really amazing experience. And also when you consider like food, board, entertainment, 3 days of that is not going to be more expensive than like 3 days in New York City.
the food overall was really good. The accommodations were nice. I was comfortable. The sheets were clean. The first shower especially was fine. And I'm really happy I had the opportunity to do it. And the truth is, I probably wouldn't have done it without you. So I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope I get to see you again real soon. All right, I got one last train to catch. I got to figure out how I'm getting to my hotel. I have no idea what I'm doing.